Yo, 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 yo. What was it? Good afternoon, freedom marchers, freedom lovers, freedom family, freedom fighters. Snapzilla Gorillas in the building, hitting y'all with this live stream. And by now, you guys already know the news.
Watch out.
Y'all know what's up. Those of y'all hip to the boxing world, we got great news, right? We got great news, man. I mean, they let them tell it though. Let the haters tell it. You know, they'll say whatever to shit on this fight, but it's official. Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. is official, and I can't wait to see this fight. They're going to be fighting in November on Riyadh season, I believe, in Saudi Arabia. So after about a week of, back and forth bullshit, you know what I'm saying? With people essentially trying to sabotage the fight, trying to make it seem like, Devin and Bill doesn't want the fight to happen. We finally got the fight officially done. Both sides have agreed to fight in November. And, this is not new news. This was officially dropped yesterday. And so there has been time, about 24 hours since the news dropped, for, all these channels, all these so-called boxing journalists and whatnot, to discuss this fight. But I noticed that a few of them are quite silent. They was talking all that shit for days and days and days. But here we are, 24 hours after it is officially announced by Ring Magazine and Riyadh on Twitter or whatever. Both sides have agreed to fight. And these Haney hating channels ain't got shit to say about it. Boxing No-Go talked about it, but I believe he did a live stream on it. Not sure what he said, right? Because I didn't watch it, but I'm pretty sure he was shitting on Devin. Basically saying that Devin is probably going to get his ass whooped or whatever the case may be. But we'll see, right? Decide, salute. Dead Mike was good. Dead Mike says that Norman is going to smoke Haney's boots. Real talk. We'll see. I'm glad y'all think that. Y'all go ahead and believe that. Y'all go ahead and believe that. I just encourage y'all to go look at the breakdown I did of Brian Norman Jr. versus Jen Sasaki. Go check out that fight. Queen Sister Cameron's in the building. Salute to you. Make sure you drop your link, Queen Sister Cameron. Y'all go check out Queen Sister Cameron channel. She got some dope content. You know what I'm saying? She's she's fairly new. So y'all go check her out, man. A lot of great content. Basically, she shows you how to deal with different mental health issues, right? And so y'all go check her out. Anyway, look, the bottom line is this, man. Y'all came out. No problem, Queen. I appreciate you. Thank you for always supporting me and always looking out for me, man. Thank you for sharing me out when you share me out and all that good stuff, and dropping the super chat and hit the like button. I really appreciate it. So, you're always looking out. Look, I just want to know where these hating channels are. Where are these anti-Devin Haney channels at? Shitting on this fight. Right? Because the whole thing was, Devin's ducking. Devin postponed the fight. Somebody said Devin postponed the fight. And that was the title or if that was the shit that he put on the thumbnail. And I'm talking about knockoff pity pack. Oh, he was on it. He was on it. Video after video. Live stream after live stream. Just like a number of other channels. Manager Cooney. South Sucker TV. All these guys saying that Devin was going to duck. That Devin was ducking. All this bullshit. When the whole time, right? Kept telling you, oh, the fight's off. Oh, it's not going to happen. All this bullshit. Right? Brian Norman Sr. telling you that they got the offer from Turkey before Bill and Devin did, which doesn't make any fucking sense. Right? Brian Norman had y'all gassed up. Brian Norman Sr. had y'all thinking that the Haneys were pulling bullshit. Oh, yeah, we got the thing first and this, that, and the third and all this bullshit. All these guys creating all this confusion in the Norman camp. Creating all this confusion. They're the ones who were talking about the fight is off. Oh, the fight is off. Oh, this is off. Oh, the Bill Haney smoking crack and whatever the fuck they're saying. Whatever they can say to create confusion while the Normans try and negotiate the best possible advantages for Brian Norman Jr. That is my speculation. And that's what makes sense to me. Because, essentially, they were ducking, in my opinion, until they got what they felt they wanted. There were Brian Norman Sr. was running around. There was one time he was in a conversation with Bill on one of these channels, and he mentioned something about the ring size. What size the ring gonna be? You know what, man? Nobody was thinking about ring size until guess who brought it up? Not Turkey. I'm talking about, the Buckeye food, the Hashimoto's motherfucker. What's his name? God damn it. Y'all, Taco Hat. Y'all know who I'm talking about. That guy. Showbiz the man-child. Now everybody's concerned with ring size. Canelo, Brian Norman Sr., all these motherfuckers. Oh, what about the ring size this, ring size that? Well, that tells me a lot. Right? Yes, Cameron. Showbiz the man-child. It tells me a lot. Especially when fighters are talking about they want smaller ring sizes. Particularly fighters who fight in a particular style. Right? Someone like a Brian Norman Jr. who is a power puncher, right? He's a boxer puncher, right? He's supposed to be a boxer puncher, but I haven't seen him display much boxer, right? But that remains to be seen, right? Maybe it's possible, but it tells me something when Brian Norman Sr. is asking about the ring size. Because we already know why Canelo is asking about the ring size. Because we know his feet suck. Right? We know his feet suck. We know his feet are slow. We know he does not know how to cut off the ring. I'm not saying Brian Norman Sr. Jr. does not know how to do that. What I'm saying is I haven't seen much of a need for it from him. You understand what I'm saying? I do know when he faced a couple of boxers, he had a lot of trouble. Devin Haney is going to be better than any boxer he's ever faced. Point blank and period. Now, Stray Godzilla, salute to you. We don't know how Devin's, we don't know about Devin's power at 147. We don't know. He might be more powerful than in any other weight class. He might be less powerful. He might have the same level of power. But what we do know is that we know people don't walk through Devin Haney's punches. We know that. And after what I saw against Jin Sasaki, even though Brian Norman Jr. knocked Jin Sasaki back 6 weeks of his life, I can comfortably say that Devin Haney has a hell of a better chance than Jin Sasaki against Brian Norman Jr. A much better chance. It's not even close. Not even a little bit. But we'll see it play out. There's 5 months. 5 months between now and November. That gives both fighters the opportunity to work on what they feel they need to work on for this fight. And everybody telling y'all that Brian Norman Jr. is just going to come out and just waylay and knock the fuck out of Devin Haney. Well, they're going to be in for a rude awakening. Dwayne Johnson Jr. No, I'm not from North Carolina. Ivan Curry says I look like a soldier. Well, I am a veteran. I was a soldier. Well, I guess once a soldier, always a soldier. I am a veteran. This is true enough. Now, I still want to know, where are the channels that were shitting on the Haneys? A lot of shit was said during this past week, leading up to the confirmation that these two were going to get down, right? Brian Norman Jr. and Brian Norman Sr. and Bill Haney got into it. There was some shit talking back and forth. There were a lot of different channels pulling both guys from every direction. And while one side kept sending mixed signals, right? Kept sending mixed signals about whether or not the fight was going to happen. One side stayed consistent. They stayed consistent. The through line was straight for one side, and for the other side, well, they go to one platform, say one thing, go to another platform, say another thing, get on Twitter and say one thing, and all this other shit. And everybody took it and ran with it. When there was all this confusion, when the confusion was abound and views to capitalize on, motherfuckers jumped on it. But all these people were sure Devin Haney was ducking. But now we don't have that. Both sides have agreed. Congratulations to Brian Norman Jr. and Devin Haney. The only two people that really matter in this whole scenario, the only two people that need to agree to fight are Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. And guess what? They have both agreed. They have both agreed. It's official. We are going to start seeing promotional things, and we'll see some press conferences. We will see, right? We'll see training. You know what I'm saying? I believe that this is probably going to be fight of the year. It's going to be fight of the year. That's what I believe. Because there is no excuse for either of these guys to not perform at their best on that night. It's not going to be an excuse. Right? And what I see happening is tools being pulled out that you've never seen before from Devin Haney's side. You're going to see a lot of new tools, I believe. It was what it was with the Jose Ramirez fight. A lot of people want to swear up and down, oh, it was Devin's worst performance. Oh, he didn't do that good. He was moving too much. All this bullshit. All this bullshit when he basically won every fucking round. He won every round. He controlled the pace. He controlled the distance. Right? He showed great ring generalship. He showed great defense. He showed a lovely check hook. He put that check hook on display. But of course, no one wants to talk about it. Instead, what y'all want to say is, oh, Devin didn't throw any punches. Devin didn't land anything. Devin didn't do this. Devin didn't do that. Well, I guess we'll see now, won't we? I guess we'll see. 5 months. Right? And 5 months. Devin started talking about fighting Brian Norman a few days. Well, he was always on the list, right? Brian Norman Jr. was on the list. He was number 5 on the list. And when he was ready to put it to Brian Norman Jr. to fight next, what did he do? He did it in the most motivating way possible. He called Brian Norman Jr. ass. Devin did this so that he can make sure Brian Norman Jr. beats Jin Sasaki so they can fight next. That's why he did that. And when he knocked out Jin Sasaki, everybody thought Devin was shriveling in fear. Devin said, I guess he's not so ass. Everybody came out of the woodwork. Devin's scared. Devin's ducking. Oh, why ain't we heard from Devin? Why ain't we heard from Bill? Well, maybe because they were telling Turkey,
police reported ahead.
Let's get ready to send Brian Norman Jr. a fucking offer. Yeah, maybe for a couple days they wanted to make sure that they offered Brian Norman Jr. what he wanted to fight Jerron Boots Ennis. At least they can start there, right? Brian Norman Sr. and Bill Haney went on to the Boxing Voice, I believe, or they went on to True Media, whatever the fuck. One of those two. And they agreed to fight on the phone previous to that. Brian Norman Sr. confirmed that that conversation happened. And with the evidence that the Haneys were ready to face Brian Norman Jr. in their fucking face, what did these channels do? They tried to sabotage it. They tried to cause division and dissension. Right? They caused dysentery. They caused dysentery in the ranks. They tried to turn these two gentlemen against each other. It was a diabolical plot. Dead Mike, the guy who don't know shit about boxing, said, stop the cap, Devin Haney is a runner. Well, I'll tell you what, Dead Mike. You don't know shit about boxing. That's what I have to say to people that says Devin Haney is a runner. The first time Devin ever fought like he fought Jose Ramirez, which was by boxing. 100% pure boxing. First time he's ever done that. In years, multiple years. Hell, maybe even before that. We call him a runner. And the reason y'all call him a runner is because he did not get landed on. Bottom line. Y'all call Shakur a runner for the same reason, except Shakur barely landed shit him damn self. At least Devin landed 70 punches in that fight. Well, if Devin's running and Jose Ramirez is following him and trying to catch him, Well, I guess Jose Ramirez is also running. Jose Ramirez is running if Devin's running because he's following and chasing after him. But we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about how it takes two to tango. CJ, salute. CJ says, I dated a girl. She loaned me a lot of money. I swore on the B, I pay her back. She found out that I was a crip. What? Okay. Good for you, man. Good for you. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Don't drive and talk. Why not? You know, you guys are so... Every time y'all say something like that, I say the same shit. If you're so concerned about me driving and being distracted, why write in the chat? You know, one of the best things that... Here's what I learned, right? Here's one of the most valuable things you can do in life when certain things happen. Connect your top lip to your bottom lip and shut the fuck up. That is one of the best things that somebody can do in life in certain circumstances. Sometimes it's good to connect the top lip to the bottom lip and shut the fuck up. If you don't want to distract somebody by talking to them, typing to them, whatever the case may be, just remember that I said that. The next time somebody is doing a live stream while they're driving, that is a valuable tool. Jerry Alexander says, facts, Devin stood in the pocket against Ryan, Regis, Loma, in the second Kambosos fight. He is not a runner. Even in the first Kambosos fight, he wasn't running. He was just using his jab. Using footwork. He wasn't, moving like he moved to Jose Ramirez, but he was just using the jab. He was using the jab. Using the jab, and he'll clinch when he needed to clinch. But y'all complained about that too. Every time Devin fought in a certain style, y'all complained, except for the Regis fight. But even in the Regis fight, when he stayed in the center of the ring and was dominating from the outside while staying in the center of the ring, what did y'all do?
Police reported ahead.
What did y'all do? Y'all called Devin a weight bully because he was manhandling Regis. Manhandling Regis, a man who almost killed himself trying to make weight at 140 pounds. Someone who is essentially too big for 140. Y'all called Devin a weight bully against a man who barely made weight at 140. Yeah, the Cuber, salute to you. Y'all got mad at Devin can't win for losing for y'all. That's why he shouldn't worry about what the hell y'all got to say. I'm not talking about his supporters like Jerry Alexander. I'm talking about people like Dead Mike. Devin is not fighting for you.
Police reported ahead.
I'll get Siri to report one time. Hey man, you know what I'm saying? Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Hey man, say man. Don't even worry about it, Mike. Don't even worry about it. So Devin is not concerned. And that brings me to this thing about fear. I talked about fear before. I talked about fear and how everybody wants Devin to be afraid. Everybody wants Devin, not everybody. Let me scale that back. Certain individuals in the YouTube space, they like to say Devin should have a level of fear going into this fight. They talk about how Devin Haney fans have fear of Devin going into that fight. And I say that I have zero fear. I don't fear Devin going into the fight because Devin went through a lot of adversity to get to this point in the first place. And there are certain things I didn't talk about in regards to how I feel Devin is not going to have any fear. He has no fear. I don't think he fears any fight. The very fact that Devin decided to move ahead with fighting Brian Norman after he knocked out Jin Sasaki lets me know that Devin has zero fear. And that's okay. Could he be cautious? Could he have a level of a level of apprehension? There may be some of that. But I believe that's mostly to do with, survival instinct. You could call it fear, but I feel like it's a healthy level of fear that actually fortifies you and makes you approach a situation in an intelligent way. Hannibal, salute to you. Salute, Hannibal. King Fuse Lit House. Walaikum assalam, brother. Jerry, oh, you're talking to somebody else. So, there may be a level of fear there, but I have zero fear because I'm not stepping in the ring with Brian Norman Jr. And there, like I said, this is why you study film. This is why when you face an opponent, you know who your opponent is going to be. You study their fights. Okay, get in front of me and slam the brakes. Why not? Why not? Even though I'm talking and driving and glancing at the chat every now and then, I still manage not to rear end somebody who just cut me off and slam the brakes. Isn't that amazing? I can walk and chew bubblegum. Anyway, the fear, right? I have no fear. I'm not getting in the ring. But this is why you study tape. This is why you study a boxer. This is why you hire sparring partners that have a similar style or that can emulate a similar style to your next opponent, so that to prepare you, because he has 5 months to prepare. And if anything, they both can study. But the fear that the fear that we want Devin to have, not we, but certain individuals want Devin to have, they want Devin to have a fear that makes him, just flinch and scrunch up and like stand there and freeze, right? They want Devin to freeze so that he can get punched on. DP Rock, a salute to you, man. Welcome. Carter, salute. They want Devin to freeze in there. And listen, the same type of person that said that they have questions, right? That they say they have questions about how Devin is going to essentially, how is Devin going to behave, and how is he going to react? How is he going to respond to a puncher like Brian Norman Jr.? Because of what happened with Ryan Garcia. The same people that have those types of questions for Devin going into this fight had the same questions about Devin going into the Jose Ramirez fight. And when Devin fought in a way to nullify the left hook, where it barely landed once or twice, and when it did land, it did not hurt him, they said Devin underperformed. They said Devin underperformed because Jose Ramirez failed to land the left hook on Devin Haney. They wanted Devin to get hit with that left hook so they can see if Devin has a weak chin or not, for real. You know why? Because they didn't want the performance-enhancing drugs to be the reason Devin got knocked down 3 times against Ryan Garcia. No. They didn't want it to be the performance-enhancing drugs. They just wanted it to be Ryan Garcia's devastating left hook. They wanted that to leave a mark on Devin's mind, to be afraid of left hooks for the rest of his fucking life. These are people who claim to analyze fights. One of them being, and I'm not going to sneak this, so this ain't going to be no sneak. I'm talking about Claymore Rain. People like that claim to analyze fights, claim to be boxing enthusiasts, boxing experts, in the boxing, all that shit. Yeah, you know all the stats of all the fighters and all the rankings and all these things. We're so focused on these types of things, academic side of boxing. We're so concerned about the academic side that we're not thinking about the practical side of boxing. So there's certain tests. If I wanted to take a history test in the sport of boxing, I'd probably get a B- or a C. But for the lab test, I'm probably going to get an A for my practical knowledge of boxing. And what I understand is, if you go into a fight and fight like you never fought before, like Devin did against Ryan Garcia, and this is what I understood when I was watching the fight. I understood that Devin was not fighting his fight. He was fighting Ryan Garcia's fight. He got caught up in the mental, he got caught up in the Jedi mind tricks of Ryan Garcia. He got into his emotional bag. He got emotional. And that caused him to what? Keep getting caught with the left hook, because he kept walking Ryan Garcia down. And even though that level of aggression from Devin Haney got him knocked down, guess what? He still had success in the middle rounds of that fight. He won plenty of them. He won quite a few rounds fighting Ryan Garcia's fight. If you understand, if Devin got caught with the left hook that many times, why did he only get knocked down 3 times? Yeah, I know y'all want to say 5 times, really. But whatever. He officially got knocked down, whether it's 5 times or 3 times. Y'all keep saying Devin kept getting caught with the left hook. So it must have been like 100 of them, right? It must have been like 20 or 30 of them. Did Devin get caught with 20 or 30 left hooks? How many left hooks did Ryan Garcia throw versus landed? So if you take that into consideration, that Devin never fought like that before. Devin doesn't fight like that. If you take into consideration that Devin did not keep his right hand up, if you take that into consideration, if you take into consideration that Ryan Garcia came in over 3 pounds overweight during the official weigh-in, if you take into consideration that Ryan Garcia was on performance-enhancing drugs, then you understand that these are all things that can be adjusted for in future fights. And so what happened was, when he fought Jose Ramirez, he adjusted for the things that he could adjust for. And guess what? Maybe 1.5 left hooks landed on him. In fact, he was landing the left hooks. Check left hooks. Take into consideration in the Jose Ramirez fight that Jose Ramirez was not on performance-enhancing drugs. Well, guess what? You have mitigated another threat. And what you have is success for Devin Haney. That's what that translates to. Jerry Alexander, salute to you, man. He says, I agree Devin fought Ryan fight, but I think it still would have worked if Ryan was... And I agree with that 100%. But unfortunately, he did take drugs. Unfortunately. So, but imagine the level of success Devin Haney had against Ryan Garcia when he was juiced up. You bring that knowledge and that experience. You learn from it. This is the type of thing Devin does. I know it. Y'all probably want to think I'm a Devin Glazer. I don't give a hot fuck. Y'all can think whatever y'all want. I have zero concern about any of that. What I concern myself with is the fact that it has to appear that I'm a Devin Haney Glazer because Devin is the only fighter that is trying to challenge himself at that level. But now you got Brian Norman Jr., a young buck, a couple years younger than Devin. The most dangerous welterweight in the division right now. In the division. Might even have been the most dangerous welterweight with Boots there. Right? Might even be then. So consider what we got, what we're dealing with Brian Norman Jr. Who has Brian Norman Jr. faced at that level? Who has Brian Norman Jr. faced at welterweight on the level of a Devin Haney? See, Devin faced fighters like Brian Norman Jr. He faced Regis Prograis. Now, their styles are not exact. What I'm talking about is the puncher, the power, right? The power they bring. Linares, arguably, right? Even though you'll have people out there that'll say, oh, well, Linares, he got stopped so many times and blah, blah, blah. But Linares was still a banger, yo. He buzzed Devin. Y'all remember that? Gave him the stanky leg. So here's the thing. Here's the thing, man. Take Brian Norman Jr. I want y'all to really think about this because what I really want y'all to do is go check out the live stream I did when I broke down the Jen Sasaki fight. I really encourage y'all to go check that out because I had watched the fight before that, but I wanted to watch it again. I didn't want to watch it so many times. I wanted to have fresh eyes on it. I wanted to have a look. I saw things that is typical of a fighter like Brian Norman Jr., who is young, still green. I said this before. Brian Norman Jr. has not yet gotten into his peak. What do they call that when you're at your peak? I keep forgetting that fucking term, y'all. He has not reached the pinnacle. And imagine if, let me tell y'all something. When Brian Norman Jr. faces Devin Haney, if he doesn't take Devin Haney out like like Floyd Schofield took out Tevin Farmer, he is going to learn a lot from that experience with Devin Haney. Devin Haney is going to make Brian Norman Jr. that much of a better fighter. Yes, prime Super Hustle, man. Thank you, man. I don't know why I keep getting that. Frank, you know what? I don't understand. You clearly have a problem with me. I had a guy come in when I was talking about Donald Trump, when I was shitting on Donald Trump for being a criminal. He told me in a comment that Trump is doing a great job. I don't know why I got to make things political. And then that he was unsubscribed. Why do y'all feel the need? Why do y'all feel the need? I'm just curious. Like, I believe in free speech. Write whatever you want. You can write as long as you're not spamming. Because spamming is not free speech. Spamming is just you're fucking around. But I don't understand why. I find it very fascinating. That's a question I would ask Queen Sister Cameron. Why do people go to people that they don't like just to talk shit? I don't go to channels I don't like and write comments at all. I don't watch their shit. I don't watch it unless I want to do some commentary on it. Unless what they say is so outrageous and ridiculous that I have to, because I want to give people a different perspective outside of what they are telling people out there in the world. Because people are so impressionable, right? If you find somebody, and this is just human nature, right? Because so many of us have to cling to individuals that we feel are leaders or that we look up to, and we get so attached emotionally that we can't separate. For some reason, when we find a person that we latch on to them, and we hold on with all our being and all our might. And you can't. These are people on the internet, y'all, that you don't know from Adam. But we attach ourselves to them, and we ignore all the red flags. We ignore the red flags they give off when they lie, when they manipulate, and all that shit. This is what we do. This is human nature. I don't do that. I'll cut your ass off if you say some crazy wild shit. And if I feel that you're acting out of a lack of integrity, I'll start to pay attention. And once I see a pattern, it's a wrap. It's done. I feel no need to continue to support that individual. Frank Amillo says I'm crashing out. Bruh.
Approaching a
See what I'm talking about? Frank Armillo. I'm not even talking about you, bro. See, this is what I'm saying. I don't understand. But what I'm saying is, whatever. It is what it is. Y'all do what y'all want, man. If y'all wanna be fanatics of people, that's good. Good for you. But what I'm saying is, Brian Norman Jr. has an opportunity with this fight. Like I said, Floyd Schofield came out against a veteran in Tevin Farmer. Now, did Tevin Farmer go through 2 fights with William Zepeda, which are arguably, wars for him? Yeah, perhaps. Was he overconfident? Was he not warmed up enough? These are all factors that are possible. These are possible factors that led to him just getting whooped on like that. I mean, dude couldn't react. Right? He could not. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't expecting Kid Austin to come out the gate like that, but his reaction time was non-existent. So unless Brian Norman Jr. comes out and for some reason Devin freezes up and can't react, and it goes the distance, or it goes 9 to 11 rounds, and he ends up stopping Devin, or Devin ends up stopping him, or it goes the distance, and Devin gets a unanimous decision, or split decision, or majority, whatever. It cannot. He will learn from this. Super Hustle, man, salute to you, man, dropping that super chat on me, man. I appreciate you. Salute to you, man. He said the real reason for hate is because he's a black fighter, true, who's his own boss, true, with an involved father, true, and mastered the craft, true. They did the same thing with Mayweather and will sue the Kid Austin. I agree. And here's another reason. It's not so much that he's doing all those things. It's because their favorite fighter aren't doing those things. Like Tonka Truck Davis. Pay attention to which fan base shits on Devin the most. Right? Brian Norman Jr. does not have a fan base yet. But, oh shit. Holy shit, I just realized something, y'all. I just realized something. Wow. Tonka Truck Davis fans are now going to hitch their wagon to Brian Norman Jr. Holy shit. Then Mike says stop making it a race issue. We'll stop making it a race issue when it stops being one. When it stops being one, we'll stop talking about it. We didn't make it anything. The race issue has already been created. We're just addressing it. Anyway, Brian Norman, listen. Brian Norman Jr. does not have a fan base, y'all. Until last week. Brian Norman Jr. fans will now be Tonka Truck Davis fans. Holy shit, we're fucked. Holy shit. See, this was what was the thought. We thought, well, if holy shit. We thought if Tonka Truck Davis retires, his rabid, out of control fan base will go away. No. They're just going to transfer over to Brian Norman Jr. Holy shit. Now, if Brian Norman Jr. loses to Devin, they might go away. But I don't think they will. I think they're still going to cling to Brian Norman Jr. If Tonka Truck Davis retires within the next year or so, and Brian Norman Jr. ends up beating Devin, Tonka Truck Davis fans are going to be Brian Norman Jr. fans. Holy shit. Frank Armio says the majority of the best boxers of all time are black. Is that racist too? No, that's true. But they are hated for that very reason. They are hated for that very reason. People try to shrink the ring size for that very reason. People label black boxers runners for that very reason. You just highlighted why race is an issue in the sport of boxing. Because black folks, black fighters are the best fighters in the sport. And that's why there's race. That's why race is involved. Stray Godzilla says Tank needs to solve his Lamont Roach problem. I agree, but unfortunately, Tonka Truck fans aren't going to go away with Tonka Truck. They're just going to cling to, oh shit, they might even cling to Kid Austin. They might just cling to him based on what he did to Tevin Farmer. Hell, they probably already doing it. Kid Austin, Brian Norman Jr., maybe even Abdullah Mason. But I think only certain Tonka Truck Davis fans are going to cling to him. I think only Tonka Truck Davis fans that actually love the sport more than they love Tonka Truck, or as equally, they'll start supporting Abdullah Mason more heavily in the absence of Tonka Truck. But we'll see. We'll see. Frank Emil says, 8 of my top 10 are black, not based off color, but based off fighting skill and dominate ring performance. I agree. That's how it should. Every fighter's shit. That's how every fighter should be based. Should be rated. They should be rated based on their abilities in the ring and how they carry themselves outside the ring, how they represent the sport, how they train, how they go after the best fights, how they challenge themselves. That's how they should be rated. I agree with you. You won't get an argument from me. Unfortunately, these labels, runner, really just the runner thing, right? The runner. That is one way that they are attacking black fighters. And so because of this runner narrative, they're trying to make rules. They're trying to incentivize. They're trying to make rules against runners. They're trying to shrink ring sizes based off of preventing fighters from running. And they're also trying to incentivize fighters to perform knockouts, to stand there in the pocket. Here, I'll give you a few $1 million. Turkey Al-Sheikh tried that shit, and then he changed it to best performance. Right? Best performance. But these are things that they're trying to do to change the sport. To change the sport in order that the black fighter has less advantages. Their natural God-given abilities be hampered in some way. And this is what it is. Instead of encouraging their counterparts and their opponents to up their game, right? Because you can improve your footwork. Let's say you don't have the natural God-given ability to have great footwork. There are drills you can do, right? You can drill it. There are footwork drills. Me, I have naturally good footwork, right? I never had to do all those hours and hours of footwork drills, right? In order to use great footwork when I'm boxing. I just have, holy shit, Super Hustle Man, salute to you, man. He just dropped a $20 super chat. Salute, man. I appreciate that. He says they don't like when black fighters are strategic. Fighters like Loma and Fury are praised for it. They want all black fighters to have savage spirit to entertain. That's why the other races love Tyson so much. Yes. Man, thank you for dropping that super chat, man. I greatly appreciate it, man. I appreciate you. And speaking of Loma, have you seen Super Hustle Man? Speaking of Loma, you brought Loma up. Have you seen how Loma trains his hand-eye-hand-foot coordination, all the different scientific things he does to make himself the matrix that black fighters don't have to do. Even Loma had to go to ballerina classes. Nothing wrong with it. But Loma had to take ballerina courses and do all this, catch the ball, drop the ball, catch the ball, touch this light, touch that light. Not saying that those aren't great exercises, great drills for anybody to improve their footwork. Even naturally God-given people with God-given ability to have the great footwork. I mean, even myself, I'll do drills like that to improve my footwork. But did I have to? Or I mostly improve my footwork through sparring, pad work, working a heavy bag, right? You know, just you show me how to do something one time, I pick it up like that, right? Like when I started doing training, even with Muay Thai. You know, all the different styles of Muay Thai. You know, and my style is more like a hybrid between a Muay Thai is like, it's very, there's a lot of head movement in my style of Muay Thai, but it also involves a lot of footwork. For instance, let's say I throw a jab, right? I might throw a jab and a outside leg kick. But when I throw that leg kick, I'm slipping to the left. So I'm throwing the outside leg kick with my right leg. And at the same time, I'm stepping to the left and dipping to the left in case they counter my outside leg kick. So I'm not just standing there and throw the leg kick, right? I'll throw the leg kick, take my head out the center line, slip. It took me 2 tries to learn that. And, you know, something like that. Whereas other people, you know, they have to drill it and drill it and drill it. No, it took me about 1 time, and I understood it. Some people have that ability, and some people don't. Some people have the ability to pick up a backflip just like that. They just, some people have that God-given ability. It just so happens that black folks have that. Most black folks have that ability to pick something like that up more easily than others, and that's just what it is. But we get in certain sports, they try to nullify and take the advantage away for that. When I was watching Champside, he talked about in BFTB, I believe it was actually BFTB. He was talking about how they kept moving the three-point line to make it more difficult for black fighters to shoot the three-pointer because black folks was dunking like a motherfucker, right? So they created the three-point line in the first place, so to give the white basketball player more ways to score more points, because they felt like, well, black fighters aren't that great at throwing 3 points, singing 3-point shots. Anyway, Super Hustle Man says Loma, Bevo, Devin, and even T.O. got it. Oh, the footwork is great. Yeah. You know, yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Instead of trying to take tools away from one style of fighter, add tools to your style, like Loma and Bevo, and Usyk, Tyson Fury to a degree. Well, yeah, Tyson Fury, and other white fighters or European fighters that have good, decent footwork. They added those tools. They train that way. Like Eastern European style. You know what I'm saying? Not Eastern European style, but in Eastern Europe, they do more so of the footwork, the in and out, right? They're in and out. They use a lot of lateral movement. They do a lot of sides. They do a lot of step and shuffles. They do a lot of those types of things. L steps, right? They train on fighting off the back foot. They train on fighting while retreating, which is another great tool to have, and Devin is great at. Devin is great is at punching while retreating. So here's one thing I'll give you, and this is what's going to be key for Devin Haney that I see against Brian Norman Jr. And then I'll get off of this. Frank says race doesn't matter. Exactly. I agree, Frank. But we have to acknowledge the natural abilities of certain groups of people. Right? And all you have to do is train more at what you lack in. And you are capable. Every boxer is an athlete to a degree. You wouldn't be in there if you weren't an athlete. You wouldn't be successful. You wouldn't be on the level of a Canelo. You wouldn't be on the level of a fighter like Canelo or whatever. Or you wouldn't be on the level of an Errol Spence if you didn't have a natural athletic ability. You have ability in more in one area than another, whereas another fighter has more ability in something you lack in and lack in something that you have great ability in. All you have to do is you hone what you're good at and you train more at what you drill more at what you want to improve on. Look at my daughter trying to, oh y'all. Hold on, baby, give me 1 minute. Huh? Give me a minute, okay? Okay. So here's one thing I can say. Frank says, can't train athletic ability like that. Either you have or you don't. That's not true. This is what I'm saying. You can improve your hand-eye coordination. You can improve your footwork doing certain drills. I'm trying to tell you. You can suck at dancing naturally, right? Let's say you 5, 6 years old. You ain't got no motherfucking rhythm. You can't catch a beat naturally. Well, you can go take classes. And you learn and you train and you train and you drill and you drill. And you can improve your ability to catch a rhythm, to catch a beat. Right? Like a drummer does. Like a guitarist does. You might have a natural ability to play the guitar or play the drums. Or you might suck pretty bad at it. But you're determined to improve because you want to be able to play the drums because you have a passion for it. Even though you might not be good at it, you can still train to improve it. I'm not saying you're going to be great at it, but you can improve it. And you couple that with with the natural abilities that you already have to get you where you're at, you're going to be dangerous. You're going to be more dangerous than you were before. So like I said, Canelo, he has great upper body movement, right? He has great upper body movement. He is great at parrying shots, right? He's great at parrying shots. He's great at head movement, upper body movement. If he coupled that with just a little bit of footwork, he would be dangerous. It wouldn't have to be spectacular footwork. So like I was saying, here's one thing I see. A guy like Brian Norman Jr. facing somebody like Devin, what Devin is going to want to do, here's what you're going to get caught up at against the Brian Norman Jr. If he's walking you down and you back straight up, you go straight back, it's going to be a problem. But if you can back up and sidestep and use your jab and fight and throw punches while you're retreating, you're going to greatly hinder Brian Norman Jr. Right? You just have to step. Use a little bit of head movement, right? Right? But like by fading back, but step at the same time. You step back and fade back. You can make him miss a whole lot. You're going to make him miss. He's going to throw a lot of big shots. He's going to get tired. And at the same, let him walk you down. But you gotta stay jabbing. You gotta stay jabbing. You gotta stay throwing those 1-2s. Straight up the middle. Don't worry about throwing any hooks. You know what I mean? Stab to the body. Stab to the head. He's susceptible to that. You step back, you step to the side. You step back, you step to the, like at the same time. Don't step straight back. Step back into the side. Back into the side this way, back into the side that way. you're gonna make him turn with you, right? Keep him at the end of your punches. You know what I'm saying? And let him throw his big shots. Let him blow his load, because he's gonna get tired. I saw when he fought Jin Sasaki, he was gassed out in the third round. He was gassed out in the third round. He was missing a lot of big shots. Missed a lot. Very inaccurate. But what he did land was devastating. So that's one thing. Another thing you got to keep an eye out for. Even though he's tired, his shots are still heavy, powerful shots. Even when he's tired. The thing that, okay, so if a fighter is very tired, it can hinder certain things. It can hinder his power. It can hinder his speed. It can hinder his accuracy. Right? Now, Brian Norman Jr.'s power is at this level. His speed is here. His accuracy is here. But when he's tired, his accuracy goes down here. His speed goes down here. But his power stays like right there. So his power stays with him. He's just going to be less accurate. And he can still have a burst of energy out of nowhere that can knock you the fuck out. So that's what Devin's going to have to look for. Even if Brian Norman Jr. is very tired, his punches are still going to be very powerful. But he's going to be less accurate. So you might have to take some risks to land against him. All you have to do is outland him. Outland him. It don't have to be, you ain't got to put no pop on it. You know what I'm saying? And he got a beard on him too. He got a beard on him. So you don't need to hurt him. The judges just need to see his head move when you punch him. You want him, you know what I mean? Those are those clean, hard punches. That is one criteria in the sport of boxing. Clean, hard punches. You just have to land the more clean, hard punches against Brian Norman Jr. You're not going to punch harder than him. Devin Haney's not going to punch harder than him. As far as we know right now. We don't know what his power is like at 147. But I will say that he caught Jose Ramirez when he pulled countered. He was in the corner, and Jose Ramirez tried to land his left hook, and Devin made a miss and landed his left hook and turned Jose Ramirez's head like real hard. So I wouldn't sleep on Devin's power. He's not going to outpower Jose Ramirez. So what he needs to do, he just needs to land more clean, hard punches than Brian Norman. Stay out of range, right? Because I don't think Brian Norman Jr. knows his range yet. I don't think he's picked it up yet. I don't think he knows it. I don't know if he trains to know his range, because that's something you have to train as well, right? You have to know your range, or you're going to be missing a lot. You think you're going to think you're in range, and your opponent won't even have to move that much, and you'll miss. So Devin has to keep an eye out for that. And if Devin is going to slip, and if he's going to fade back, if he's going to roll, he has to be in position to land counters and get the fuck out of the way. Get the fuck out of the way and make sure that when he's throwing punches, his hands are up. Whatever hand he's not throwing a punch with, it has to be up. Whether he has it glued to his face or has it up so he can parry. And that's what I would suggest he do. Don't catch Brian Norman's punches on the glove with your glove fucking glued to your face, because it's still going to hurt you. No, you want to parry, you want to deflect them so that they're sliding off his arm, sliding off his forearm, and missing like that, right? You want to deflect them, right? Now, what that's going to do is that's going to leave you open to body shots. But Brian Norman Jr. does not throw a lot of body shots. So, just in case though, while you're deflecting, kind of pull back, pull your ass back a little bit to take your body out of the way in case he tries to go downstairs. So while you're deflecting, you might have to deflect or parry. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I wouldn't stand there like Jin Sasaki did with the high guard, getting wailed on. Not very smart. Frank says, I just wanted to see people fight to win the fight, not just to win the judge's decision. Sometimes it goes to the decision. That's what boxing is about. And that's why there are the 4 criteria to score in boxing. Because if you don't knock somebody out, there has to be a criteria to score against. That's why, because not every fighter is a knockout artist. So the fighters that fight with their God-given ability to box, they make it look good enough to where if you're going up against a puncher, then and you can outbox, outmaneuver, and you're landing more the cleaner, harder punches, and they're not landing against you, and you're using great footwork, you're actually boxing, and your opponent has no answer for it. They can't cut you off. They can't land anything. They can't do anything with their power. You just jabbing the shit out of them. To me, that's a lot. I mean, that takes a lot of effort and skill. Sugar Free Mars, salute to you. Y'all, hey, Sugar Free Mars in the building. I appreciate you for coming through, my queen. Y'all go check out Sugar Free Mars, man. She has great commentary in sport of boxing too. She very knowledgeable, right? If y'all want some real boxing talk, y'all go check out Sugar Free Mars. You can drop your link in the chat. Jay Brumfield says Devin will mix it up. Devin's inside game is underrated. Oh no, it's very underrated. Listen, Devin's inside work is great, but if he's going to use the inside work, he has to stay moving regardless. Right? Don't listen. What we don't want is for Devin to stand in the pocket with Brian Norman Jr. and be there for Brian Norman Jr. to counter. So with that, if Devin's going to be inside fighting, he has to throw no more than a 2 or 3 punch combination. Then he has to shuffle around, right? He has to turn Brian Norman Jr., get some more off, turn him again. Use that footwork, right? Use that footwork to step and shuffle, or to pivot, step shuffle. You know what I'm saying? Shuffle step, or whatever you want to say. The shit that Mike Tyson did, right? Mike Tyson mastered. Devin, he does not want to stand in front of Brian Norman Jr. And now Brian Norman Jr. has that capability as well. He used it one time against Jin Sasaki, right? He did a shuffle step to get the angle on Jin Sasaki and beat them with a few more shots. But Devin, you don't want Devin to stand in inside. You don't want him inside the pocket, just standing there. No, he has to bing, 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 step over here, bing, 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 step over there, and then maybe step back, right? And let Brian Norman Jr. come toward him again. You know what I'm saying? And if he has to, once again, use his footwork, work those angles, get to the side, get around him. But he cannot be there when Brian Norman Jr. land those big shots. And if he has to be there, I don't want to see him doing this. I want to see him deflecting. I want to see him like Loma does. Loma is great at that, right? Y'all see Loma, right? Loma was great at it, using those deflecting the shots as opposed to doing this and getting punched on. No, that motherfucker, he would turn and bring his arm up, and your arm, you swinging, you throwing a hook, he goes like this, right? Like he's combing his hair, and your punch is going way over here. Now you out of position. Now he's binking you up. To me, that's way better than catching on the glove with the shit attached to your head. Then just stay. like Jen Sasaki was doing. Nah, no. And Canelo does it too. Canelo will throw his hands up. You know what I'm saying? Canelo will, like this, like he's throwing little uppercuts. So he's not catching on the glove, right? Now he does. Canelo will catch on the glove, right? But sometimes he'll punch your arm up, right, with his glove. He'll go bink, bink, and then throw some counters. To me, that's way better than catching on the glove with your glove stuck to your head. You still get damage, just like I told y'all. Because really what you're doing when you have the high guard, you're not like this. You're like this, right? Because you don't want your knuckles digging in your head, into your temple. So you're like this. It's flat. You know, it's less of an impact. But still, you're still getting hit. You're still getting hit in the head. It's just you're going through your glove now. The energy is still transferring through. If they punch you properly, a proper punch, when you land a proper punch, the energy goes through the target. It doesn't stop. The energy goes through. So if I'm sitting up here like this, and I'm just going there, I'm just doing this, and I'm just getting wailed on, and I'm walking you down, I'm still getting that energy is still getting transferred through my brain, y'all. So, like I said, I'd rather deflect, parry, you know what I'm saying? I slip, roll. I'd rather make a motherfucking miss, or I'd rather deflect and transfer the energy over there. So now that motherfucker open. So if he throw a mean hook, matter of fact, if he throws a hook, let's say he throws a left hook, a big left hook, and you catch it on the glove. Well, now you're helping him get his hands back to throw another shot, or to protect himself. So once he lands, the momentum is bringing his hand back. It's kind of like bouncing off your glove, and he's able to bring it back. But if you slip or roll, that energy, now he's just swinging all the way through and is leaving all this open. So if I throw a left or right hook and I miss completely, all this is open. Whereas if I land on the glove, I'm back here. Bam, right? You're there. Swing, just like that. So I'd rather make a motherfucking miss completely. Now you do have people, and that's why you also train, right, to miss the bag so that you're not carrying the momentum all the way through and being thrown off. So you might that's why you do shadow boxing. You shadow box, right? You throw those big shots, shadow boxing, so that you can get used to missing and not overreaching. And then you can bring your hands back. Yeah, Sugar Free Mars, the impact goes through if you're punching properly. Derek, why is that important? Am I a game member? Jesus Christ. Stormy B-Man's in the building. Stormy B-Man says, all the more reason old school trainers teach slip, bob, and weave. Yes. Dip and slip. How many fighters today do you... Not very many. Not very many. James Toney. James Toney was a master at it. Pernell Whitaker. Cause see, now what they're doing is they're doing a lot of the Philly roll. If they're trying to slip and dip, they're doing it here, right? But their feet aren't doing anything, right? That's how Mayweather started doing it when he became Money Mayweather and started using that Philly shell a lot, right? He'll do a lot of this, right, and all that, but he's not incorporating a lot of footwork. Whereas, man, if you incorporate footwork with head movement, but you don't overextend or over exaggerate your footwork, man, you can still be in position to land great counters. Okay, Rocky America, whatever you say, buddy. Bro, y'all are so excited about the most boring sparring match in YouTube history between me and Mighty Mouse. Y'all are so excited about a friendly sparring match where I was working on defense and he was working on offense. Do y'all know what a sparring match is? Where we're working on technical sparring and we're not doing any type of... What's wrong with y'all? Y'all are so excited about that. Y'all are so excited about that. That is the highlight of Mighty Mouse's life. The fact that we had 3 rounds of the most boring sparring match I've ever been in. After I was doing I did like 8 100-meter sprints along with jump rope and burpees before he showed up. I like to pre-exhaust myself when I spar. I like to pre-exhaust myself because I want to put myself in I want to be in the most stressful position possible when I'm sparring. Why? Because I have to work through the fatigue. I have to work through the exhaustion to do my best. But y'all can, yeah. And Mighty Mouse, he just showed up and we just started sparring. Whatever. Y'all can have whatever. Okay, Mighty Mouse destroyed me in a sparring match where he landed 3 shots. Okay. Good for y'all. Congratulations. Congratulations, y'all. And after the first round, hold on. No, he did not turn his car off. After the first round, he didn't land shit. He landed nothing. And how did he land nothing? I was just using my footwork. I barely had to use any head movement. But it's okay. Congratulations. Mighty Mouse, he is the best technical spar in America. Congratulations. I'm pretty sure it is. Because he's a chomo, a registered chomo, he cannot have his own account. And he had one, had everybody fooled. But when he got exposed, guess what? They shut his shit down. So now he mad. He mad because I was one of the people who exposed his ass. When I found out, I flamed him. I flamed him because he used to do events all over the country, right? Well, not all over the country, but he wanted to do events in LA, and he wanted to do a gloves down, guns down, glove up event in the hoods of LA. And so he asked me to get him access because you can't just go in the hood and start asking motherfuckers to do shit. So he had me I got access to an OG from A-Trade Gangsta Crip for him. So I got him an interview with Babu, who had just got out of prison after 25 years. He was an A-Trade Gangsta Crip who turned his life around in prison. He went to jail for murder. He went to prison for murder. He got out and he turned his life around. And so he did an interview. And now, I didn't know about his conviction, right, at this time. So I got him access to that. And I also was going to get him access to some people I got family, Inglewood family. I got family from Crenshaw Mafia. I got family from Black P Stone. I got family from the 40s. I got family in the 60s. I got family all over. So the whole thing, that was the thing. So when he came to LA to interview Babu, I met him at a park, at the track. And so this track, I was doing all kind of, this is where I would go after work, and I do my thing. I do some sprints, I do my jump rope, and I'll do some shadow boxing. You know what I'm saying? And also I would do it at the Culver City Stairs, but I had him meet me there, and we had a little friendly sparring match. It was 3 2-minute rounds. It wasn't nothing. But he filmed it. And so at first, when we were still cool, you know, he just posted and said, look, this is what happened. No big deal, right? But all of a sudden, when I started exposing his ass, when I got shown the receipts about his conviction, I started sharing the receipts, and I cut his ass off from LA. So he no longer was able to do events in LA, right? Couldn't do them. So of course he got mad at me, and so started sharing it. Oh, look, I destroyed Tyrant's Bane, because I was going by Tyrant's Bane then. Oh, I destroyed Tyrant's Bane, blah, 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 blah. And so that was the highlight of his life. So that from that point, it was, this is what I get. This is, yeah. Every other day I do a live stream, this is what happens. Oh yeah, yeah, Sugar Free Mars. Y'all live stream was dope last night. That's a good pairing y'all got going on there. I like that. King Fuse Lit House says, "See freedom. This is why you gotta just knock niggas out." So, but it, I wasn't, dude. I wasn't even letting my hands go. I wasn't even doing it. It was, so I would spar with people. You're welcome. Of course, it's much deserved. Now, I was sparring with people. I would go rucking up and down the Culver City stairs. No problem, Sugar Free Mars. It's much obliged. I really appreciate your content. I appreciate you and BS content together. That was dope. That was dope. But no, I would, me and my buddies, I'd go rucking, you know, and I ruck until they show up, and we spar. And I was always throwing. I mean, we go. I was always letting my hands go. This just wasn't what I was working on at that time. It's all good though. It is what it is. King Fuse House says, "I know what you mean. Haki, I box. I've been boxing since 4 years old. A lot of times sparring is, yes, and that's all I was doing. Cause you know why? I typically, because at the time I was heavyweight, right? I was training as a heavyweight. Because I was, even though I'm under 6'1", a little under 6'1", I weigh like 230 pounds, 240 pounds. Hell, when I got back into boxing, I was damn near 300. I was damn near 300 pounds. And I started, I got on my little diet, my little keto thing, got down to 230. So when I sparred Mighty Mouse, I weighed like almost 230 pounds. So if you ever come across the video, you'll see Mighty Mouse is like 5'8", 5'9", but he's over 200 pounds. But he's like 5'8", 5'9". This muscular dude, big muscular dude. I'm almost 6'1", motherfucking 220, 30 pounds. I'm towering over this dude. But I don't spar people that short. Yeah, Sugar Free Mars. I was almost 300 pounds. Now I'm like 195. I'm 195 right now. So I lost almost 100 pounds. Yeah, the white dude with the tattoos. Yes, him. Yes, Jay Brumfield, him. He is a convicted Chomo who pled out. He pled. He took a plea deal to reduce down to child sexual abuse. Reduce down. So imagine what it was at before he pled down. Exactly, Jay Brumfield. It's absolutely disgusting. And I feel this, you know, I vouched for this dude with multiple OGs from multiple gangs. And I had to, as soon as I found out, I said, hey man, no, fuck that. Don't even let him do it. No, we're not fucking with him. He's this, that. I had to explain everything. What's wrong with these people, Sugar Free Mars? That's funny. King Fuse House says, man, YouTube filled with real weirdos, man. That is why I struggle with covering boxing. It's too many. Oh, you cover boxing? You got a channel? Matter of fact, let me give you a wrench. You've been rocking. I didn't know you got a channel. Why don't you drop your link? Rainbow Coalition, Sugar Free Mars. Shit's wild. So, yeah. So, when I sparred him, I was sparring. As a matter of fact, it was the time of Modelo 19. Y'all know the COV. It was like 2000. And so, my gym closed where I was training at. Because I was actually going to join the Masters and box and do Muay Thai. I was going to do Muay Thai and boxing. I was going to compete in the Masters for Muay Thai and boxing. Because I was over 35 years old. So I was going to join the Masters and compete there. But then Modelo 19 happened. So the gym closed and I wasn't sparring. I ain't sparred with nobody in months and months and months. And I was getting back into it. And so, but anyway, I was used to sparring dudes like 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", 200 something pounds. I was used to sparring motherfuckers like them. So I had to let my hands go to try to get past their guard. Use the jab, bob and weave, get under their shit, and land some body shots and go up top. Change levels. So I wasn't sparring people that much smaller than me or shorter, because he was still solid, right? That much shorter, except for like kids. Like there was a couple kids in the females that were in there, the ladies that I was sparring with, but I was going like 10% with them. So, I was just letting them work. So when I'm sparring people in my gym that were shorter than me, it was just for them to get a little work in. It wasn't for me to let my hands go. So I wanted to see how I could do defensively against somebody that short, 5'8", 5'9", that still weighed over 200 pounds, that was aggressive. That's what I was working on. I was, so it is what it is. I look like Bangino. Okay, Nancy Gorham. I don't think so. King Feudalist House, no problem, bro. Joseph Jackson says, why motherfucker trying to say Dev was trapped in the corner? I don't know, man. It's the hate. The Devin Haney hate train. Anyway, y'all, let me get up in here, hang out with my kids. I just got back from work, so yeah. I was gonna do this live yesterday, but I had a lot of ripping and running to do, and I was planning on doing it from my computer, but it is what it is. But thank you guys for coming through. Thank you for hitting that like button. Thank you for dropping the super chat if you dropped the super chat. Thank you for sharing this out if you shared it out. I appreciate you guys coming through and listening. And yeah, I appreciate y'all. Anyway, much love. Like, share, subscribe. Y'all some wild people, man. And we're going to keep marching forward toward freedom. Peace. Y'all be safe out there. Oh, breaking fucking news that I'm probably going to talk about tomorrow when they do a little bit more investigation into it. In Idaho, somebody set fire in some forest, and while the firefighters were responding, they were being plink-plinked. You understand? There is a matter of fact, last I checked, there was an active sniper situation in Idaho that the snipers was taking out firefighters. So y'all be careful out there. Y'all stay on your P's and Q's, man. Look, hey, situational awareness. Stay alert. Look out for anomalies. Look for anything out of place. This is something that, that they train in the military, and they should train it to everybody. Yeah, Sugar Free Mars. Look at Idaho, active sniper, taking out firefighters. Last I checked, killed 2 firefighters, and they found a guy dead with a gun. So just y'all be careful out there. I'm not trying to fear monger or nothing like that, but just be on the lookout. Just be careful wherever you are. It doesn't matter. We cannot get caught up in optimism bias and think that shit can't happen to us. Don't be paranoid, or have a healthy level of paranoia, and stay safe. Stay trained up, stay moving, stay healthy, stay active, so that you guys can be best equipped to deal with the situation. And we're talking about firefighters. Firefighters, for all intents and purposes, are some of the healthiest people, not healthiest, because they go through a lot of stress and the fumes they inhale. But I'm talking about as far as physical fitness, right? As far as physical fitness. Just be careful, man. Just stay up. I will be discussing this probably tomorrow. I want to get a little more information. There's not a lot right now. They don't have motive. They say there may be as many as four active shooters at this point in time. So when I get more information, I'll let y'all know, man. Just be careful out there. Like, share, subscribe. and make sure y'all keep marching forward toward